Morning.
David?
Mike, can you talk a little bit? I know you got like the 80 snaps in last week, but with 2 days here, kind of what is your plan on how many snaps you want for starters, backups, and kind of go from there?
Well, we're scheduled for approximately 74. You know, you got to estimate on the two-minute drills, which you're hoping to get 7 plays apiece. So we're pretty much scheduled for 74 both days. So it's going to be great work.
Diggs and Tyron Smith, will they do a lot today, or?
Yeah. See both those guys well.
Because I asked you that because Diggs will get maintenance day from time to time.
Yeah.
Arnold Fanning, WFAA TV. Can you emphasize again the importance of this sport because your starters won't be, playing in the preseason game?
Definitely. I mean, just count the snaps. You know, just once again, you're looking at 148 snaps over the next 2 days. So that's the mathematics we're going by. So it's great work. Obviously, this is a great environment. I had a chance to walk the fields last night, so we're excited to work with Brandon and his football team.
I think the team, the players, the starters get what they need in these practices as opposed to playing in the preseason.
I would just say the core of the decision is it goes back to risk assessment. And once again, I think when you have 2 football clubs that want to work together and have the same goals of what you're trying to get out of the practices, and that's why we're here. So I mean, they obviously are going down the same path as us as far as how they want to approach this week leading up to the game. And once again, we're excited to work today.
At the NBC by Dallas, what's the message when it comes to the towing the line of the edginess when it comes to the 2 days Zach Martin was talking about the other day?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we want to be physical and finish and so forth. But at the end of the day, we don't want any fights or things like that. But I think the biggest thing is to get back, keep the tempo up. Because all that does is it disrupts the flow of practice, tempo, because pace of operation and compete against. Can I use my hands wrong? So, pace of operation and tempo is a big part of how you practice. So, that's it's very disruptive, and there's nothing good that comes out of it.
Hey, Coach. Ready to go today?
Yeah, Will's scheduled to go to
LA bar work back here today.
Slightly. He'll do the individual, and then we're going to give him a little bit today, and then reassess.
Hey, Coach, what's your approach on tackling? Obviously, you can't. Guys aren't tackling full in practice, but then come week 1, it's kind of tackling looks kind of shabby. What's your approach on tackling? How do you plan to approach it over the next couple of days?
Tackling is a fundamental, just like everything else, and there's components to it, and there's always a teaching progression to all the fundamentals. So when you break it down to the the approach, the footwork, the long stride, short stride. So those are things we work on every day. But once again, I think the reason why you do or you don't practice, it just all falls under that the umbrella of risk assessment and player safety.
What kind of camp has Zeke had thus far?
I think Zeke's had an excellent camp. He's had a great off season, number 1 leading into camp, and he's fully healthy. He's looked good.
It seemed like Micah with the opportunity to go against Shawn today, one of the best tackles.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, there's going to be some great matchups today all the way through. So we're looking forward. I know Mike is looking forward to it too. So this will be a great work for us.
Zeke, is he someone who you feel has gotten stronger as camp has gone on? It seemed like some of his more explosive runs happened kind of later in the fold. That was just my personal impression. So I was curious what your thoughts were.
Over-evaluation, number 1. But,
typical.
Just kidding, Mike. But no, I think he's having a really good camp. I think really, if you just look the way camp goes, you got these ramp-up practices and so forth, and frankly, the run blocking unit is a little bit of a disadvantage in those first 4 weeks. But I think now, as you see the offensive line and the run blocking unit come together, he's getting some cleaner looks, and I think that's probably part of it.
We'll be speaking to Parsons later, so just in general, your thoughts on him trying to build on last season, how he's looked so far in camp?
Yeah, I mean, Mike is having an excellent camp. He's trying to go back through the practice. I don't think there's been a practice that he hasn't made, splash play or been productive. So, I think just the biggest thing is as a defense is the connection with the others, and he looks a lot more comfortable, conceptually of what we're asking him to do, and once again, being flexible to create those targeting issues that it's a big challenge for an offense.
Did
you plan on moving him around?
Leighton Vander Esch was playing his best ball since you'd been here at the end of last season, and has he carried that over into this training camp?
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember my exposure. I mean, obviously I know the type of year he had before I arrived here, but obviously then he's coming off an injury season, and that there's always a process that players go through with that. But I think clearly, I think Layton's in great shape. I think he's past the injuries, and you know, he's in a great groove right now. He's playing with a lot of confidence, and I think he's, you know, we haven't played a game yet, but I think he's, you know, poised to have a great year.
Is the plan to move Micah around, or is the plan to keep him at the linebacker or the edge spot? How do you see him best being used?
I mean, linebacker and edge spot, that'll be primarily where he works. Yeah, so that's the plan.
How much of an assessment can you get on your defense going up against a quarterback like Justin Herbert?
Oh, shoot, it's going to be great work, yeah. And so impressed with Justin. I mean, frankly, last year when we played him, you know, I think it's like any player in this league. You know, you watch him on tape, and you know, because when you watch tape, there's no emotion. You know, you don't really feel the energy, you know, that's out there. And I was just so impressed with him in our game last year. So he's not only a tremendous talent, but I think he's, you know, just the way he plays. You know, he plays with a lot of juice, a lot of energy, both in the pocket and out of the pocket. And obviously, he can make any throw in the ball.
In a preseason,
Last one.
In a preseason, you obviously keep things schematically very simple, not wanting to show too much before the regular season. During a joint practice, when
We're
there's
talking about 11 or 12 personnel. That's an inside joke. You usually ask that.
We know.
during a joint practice, can you show a little bit more of your usual stuff, or is it still pretty
about
bad?
today?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we're not trying to win the skiing game today. To be honest with you, we just want to line up and, you know, hopefully, you know, we're not playing uphill schematically. We want the competition and the fundamental work.